How do I deal with naysayers? Wow, that is such a big question. That is a huge question. You're not going to have people attacking you if you're up to nothing. So obviously, I'm getting in people's comfort zones, because most of these people I don't even know. And most of these people are very mean, say very mean things. But I've always come from the point of I've nothing to prove. As sensitive as I am, in many ways, I don't care what people say. I do care what people say because it hurts, but I can't let what people say get to me. In actual fact, when I was fruitarian, I'll tell you a little story. When I was a fruitarian, I developed a way of dealing with them. And funny enough, most of them were vegan, vegan and raw foodies. I would listen to what they say. I would take on board what they said. I would get into huge battles, because that's what I am, I'm a fighter. I would get into huge battles, and most of the times they really had no answer back for me, because I was living it. I had the experience to answer back, to know what to say, to you know, question what they were doing. I would take all the negativity and I would apply it to my fitness. So if I couldn't get an extra rep out in my exercises, I would picture something, and I would get it out. I would get that extra rep out. You know, if I needed a boost to sprint faster, I would think of something they've said, like a bullet, you know, because I had to use it that way, because they had pride in thinking they were tearing me down. But really, I was taking what they were saying, their negativity, their energy, to build me up, to make me a better, faster, stronger person. And I had to do that to protect myself. It was just a common sense thing to do. It was just too good to pass up, being a person I am. You know, a lot of people call me a fake and a fraud because they take information from years gone by where I used to flip-flop, and then they would bring it back up, drag it back up and say, well, hey, you said this, look at what he said, look at what he was doing. Of course I was doing. I've always been open. If I was a fake and a fraud, you wouldn't even be able to drag stuff up, because I wouldn't share it. I've always been open to show people that it's possible, but it's hard. You're going to go through some stuff. I wanted to be open, because all the real gurus were painting a pretty idealistic, romantic picture, totally misrepresenting the experience, the process. So I wanted to be that example of the possibilities, because I knew I was going to do it. So I put it all out there. And yeah, sometimes people brought it up and it bit me back in the butt. But at the end of the day, I was still going to live my life, you know. And people take all kinds of situations and want to call me a fake and a fraud, because they want to call me a fake and a fraud. So they're going to pick anything they can find. Also, without naysayers, I wouldn't be who I am. They taught me they played a big role in teaching me my trade, in me learning my trade, because I learnt how people are. I learnt where people are going to nitpick, you know. I learnt how to protect my mindset. If it wasn't for naysayers, man, I wouldn't be where I am. Generally, if you're playing a big game, you're going to be going through some stuff. And if you ain't going through anything, then you ain't playing a big game. And how do I deal with naysayers? I don't pay them any mind now. I used to get really upset and I had to try and prove, but I don't do that anymore, because I've learned there's no keeping them happy at all. Because they'll just pick something else. They're criticising someone that's doing something. And it's one thing this whole process has taught me, is to live in the moment. You can't live by other people's expectations. You can't live by pressure. Can't do it. You know, how I deal with naysayers, I just ignore them now. Because I know there's no pleasing them and they're going to say what they want regardless. I've been an open book, so there's plenty to destroy me with if you really wanted to, because I've been an open book. Over the years, I've flip-flopped. I've said cooked food's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Then I've flip-flopped, because your mind will make you say crazy things. Your mind will make you think crazy things to get what it wants. And that's just one of the learning things. Learning curves is part of the process. And like I say, I messed up throughout this whole thing. People really don't understand that it's been a learning process. They think that you just wake up preferring and you're perfect from day one. I'm far from perfect. I consider myself a rough diamond. I mean, there's plenty to get me in trouble with that I've done over the years. Plenty, man. And I've seen it on the internet, you know, all these different excuses people want to make to chop me down, these different lies. And I'm like, whoa, bloody hell. Woo! It's crazy. It's crazy. But it happens. It happens. And like I say, I can relate to the celebrities saying that they don't read stuff, you know. But I have to get away from it. I have to get away from people. I have to do things like this and do interviews that can reach people that need it, that feel drawn, that it's for. Because other people that this message irritates, it's not for you. And you have a power button, you know, that you can press. You don't have to criticize me. Don't shoot the messenger. You know, you have a power button or a delete button you can press. It's no skin off my nose. I'm not here to prove anything. You know, if you want to call me a fake and a fraud, then I'll say, yeah, if that's what you want to believe, I'll put my hand up. Doesn't make any odds to me, because the battle is so hard. I ain't got time to care about that. I ain't got time to put energy into that. How I deal with supporters? Now that's another kettle of fish. That's another huge question, because to me, and I'm going to sound really mean when I say it, but I don't mean to be. Supporters can be just as bad as the naysayers, man. Because supporters, while the naysayers try and tear you down, the supporters exalt you, put you on a pedestal, give you godlike status, and I don't want it. I'm nowhere near their interpretation of a god. I'm nowhere near inspiring. I'm nowhere near amazing. I am so far from it, it's untrue. So they can be as bad as the naysayers. I've had some crazy things happen through supporters. And again, it's meant that I have to withdraw myself from the public eye. I have to withdraw myself from people to protect my own self. Heaven forbid I actually believe what supporters tell me. If I believed what supporters tell me, I would probably lose the plot. I would probably go crashing in a ball of smoke. You know, it's crazy, and especially once you have the naysayers in one ear and the supporters in the other. You know, if you're not careful, it will drive you crazy. All that energy, contradicting energy. You know, because you know, if you do listen, if you have these guys in one ear and these guys in the other, it's very difficult to listen to yourself, because you're getting distracted now. Supporters can be just as bad as naysayers, because they can switch. They can come at you with, you know, the best intentions and then call you, you know, amazing, inspiring, and I want to be just like you, you know. And then if you don't give them the right answer or you don't treat them right, they can switch on a dime, you know, and become a naysayer, become your worst enemy. And, you know, most of those people are the ones that spread stuff on the internet because you peed them off, you upset them, you made them mad. So yeah, they can be just as bad. So, you know, I'll be gracious and say, you know what, I'm not what you say I am, but thank you for the compliment. And I go my merry way, because there's the supporters and then there's the true people that my message is for. And the true people my message is for, they know. Those people don't call me amazing. They don't call me inspirational. They don't. You know, they just appreciate the message. They appreciate the message, whereas the naysayers, they shoot the messenger. At least the true people that are there to hear, they spare me, you know, and they exalt the message. If anything, you know, they take it on board. They take what they want to take. They take what they need to take, what's for them, and they usually go about their merry way. And that's how it should be. But the supporters, you know, that want to be your friend on all the network sites and yada yada yada, and pick your brains and pester you just for the sake of it, when they have really no intention of doing what you do, you know, you just got to treat them like the naysayers, because they are really just as bad.